Should the Lakers trade Kyle Kuzma? That's a question that I continuously hear on social media. So in this journey, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, to whether or not the Lakers should or should not trade Kyle Kuzma. It's not as easy of a question as you may think. The Lakers right now are absolutely rolling. Do you mess with chemistry? Or do you bring in a third legitimate star to play alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Let's go ahead and dive into whether or not the Lakers should trade Kyle Kuzma. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're looking for passionate and in-depth analysis on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I drop videos every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video though. And on this video, we're going to be discussing, should the Lakers trade Kyle Kuzma? Everybody knows I'm a big-time Laker fan. From back since '89, I've seen the highs and the lows. And now that the Lakers are finally back to being a legitimate title contender, after 6 years of missing the playoffs, we had to make some sacrifices to get to this point, as we all know. We traded away Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, we let Julius Randle go, we traded away D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Clarkson. Like, the true Laker fans understand the grind that it took to get to this point, to bring in an LeBron James and an Anthony Davis. But of all those young, talented guys that we drafted over the years, Kuzma was the steal of the draft from 2017. And we kept him. Give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit in that Anthony Davis trade because he kept one of those players, and Kyle Kuzma was that one. But unfortunately, I've heard a lot of people talking about, should we or should we not trade Kyle Kuzma? This is how I look at it. There's pros to both sides. You can make an argument for either side, and I'm gonna break down both sides of the argument. Let's start with, yes, they should trade Kyle Kuzma. Why would you want to trade Kyle Kuzma? First of all, let's get rid of the whole narrative that we should have traded Kuzma instead of Ingram to get Davis. That's not an option. Brandon Ingram was making $8-9 million a year and had the highest contract of the young Laker core, and in order to get Anthony Davis, Brandon Ingram had to go, along with Lonzo Ball. Those two guys were not negotiable in regards to salary cap restrictions and how you had to send out enough salary to be able to take on the $27 million that Anthony Davis was making. So let's just go and get that out the way. The decision truly came down to whether or not you were going to trade Kuzma, Josh Hart, Mo Wagner, Isaac Bonga, the number 4 draft pick. Those were the decisions. And the Lakers kept the best player out of all of those guys, which was Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma was making about a little less than $2 million a year this year. Next year, his contract is about $3.5 million. And then the year after, he's got a qualifying offer for a little bit over $5 million. So that's one of the best things about Kyle Kuzma is his low salary for his contract. But if you're going to get rid of him, okay, we're going to take the stance on why you should get rid of him. Well, the reality is that we have seen a, little drop off in his play, specifically recently. His offense has been really struggling. Now, he came on at the beginning of the season after coming back from that injury, because we know he missed some training camp, missed the beginning of the season due to that injury he had in his foot. And he got off to a little slow start, but from November, I think it was the 10th through the 17th, that 5-game stretch he had in November, he was balling. He was looking like the Kyle Kuzma that the Lakers wanted to be that third option. He was giving you about 18 points a game. I think he was shooting 50% from the field, like maybe 43% from the three. He was balling. But then after that 5-game stretch, he started to fall off. The shot just wasn't there. He wasn't in rhythm. Now, granted, he did get an eye injury, so that kind of messed his rhythm and his flow up. And so now he's kind of been trying to find his mojo, find his swag again, right? Find his place alongside the two stars. You got to remember this. His first year he came in the league, the Lakers didn't have any stars. It was him and Brandon Ingram and Julius Randle all averaging 16.1 points a game, equally. So he was basically the number 1 option on that team. You follow up last year, LeBron James comes in and he seems to be the perfect fit to play alongside LeBron James, even more so than Brandon Ingram. He was averaging 18.7 points per game last year. Now, mind you, the first year averaged 31 minutes. Last year averaged 33 minutes. This year, mind you, we're talking about him playing not as a starter, but coming strictly off the bench, being a guy who's playing alongside 2 All-Stars, and now we've seen his minutes cut back, and we also have seen his production cut back, where he's only averaging about 11 points a game, and he's not shooting anywhere near as efficiently as he was the first 2 seasons. So there's reason to why you would say, okay, listen, he's not cutting it. For the third option, the guy who's now giving you 11 points a game, he's shooting less than 45%, which is what he was doing the first 2 years. His 3-point percentage is a little bit up from last year. He was about 30% last year, now he's around 35%. But he's shooting low 40% from the field. And he's not an elite defender. He can defend. He's not allowed. We just see him came off his last game where he had his best defensive game probably of his career. 4 steals, 3 blocks, played amazingly on the defensive end, even though his offense was still trying to find his rhythm. But for a third option, is 11 points a game, is that going to be sufficient? Listen, LeBron and Anthony Davis are playing out of their minds. But there's times where you're going to want somebody off that bench to carry that scoring load when one of them comes out. Or particularly when both of them are out. Kyle Kuzma's supposed to be that guy. He's supposed to be that go-to scoring option off the bench. He hasn't been that consistently this year. So I understand why you may want to get rid of him. Here's the problem though. Kyle Kuzma, once again, is only making about $1.9 million this year. So if you're going to trade him, what are you going to get back that's close in contract salary to $1.9 million? Not much. Not much at all. He's on a rookie contract. You got to remember that. He's still on his rookie contract. So let's say, now here's another name that's been thrown out, KCP. I'm so sick of hearing KCP needs to be traded. Listen, guys, KCP is not going anywhere. Well, let me rephrase that, because anybody's tradable. KCP shouldn't go anywhere. KCP has been playing very well since being inserted in the starting lineup. He's only making $8 million. So if you decide to trade Kuzma and KCP, you're looking at about their contracts roughly about $10 million. So what are you going to be able to get in return for that? A name that people have thrown out is Andre Iguodala. The Lakers want to get him in a buyout, but the Memphis Grizzlies are saying we're not buying Andre Iguodala out. I get that, which ultimately I think by the trade deadline they will. But unless a team like Dallas or the Clippers just overwhelms them, I don't think they're really going to find what they're looking for. But are you willing to trade KCP and Kuzma for Iguodala? I wouldn't. I want Iguodala. I think Iguodala would be the perfect person to come off the bench at that small forward to give you another wing defender. I think I would love to get Andre Iguodala. I wouldn't want to trade for Andre Iguodala. No. Now, especially if I have to give up Kuzma. If I'm giving up KCP, maybe a Quinn Cook, maybe another cap filler to because Andre Iguodala's making about $17 million a year. So if I got to get close to that $17 million, I would, throw some guys in there. Kuzma's not somebody I would throw in for an aging Andre Iguodala who's nowhere near his prime. Kuzma hasn't even hit his prime yet. Kuzma's still filling his role out amongst this Laker team. You got to remember, he's playing not just a different role from last year. He's playing in a different system from last year. And now he's playing alongside 2 stars. He's trying, there's times I've seen Kuzma literally not know where to go on the court. He'll run down, he'll run to the wing, then he realizes, somebody else is on this wing, let me go to the other side of the court. He cuts down to the box, and somebody on that box, then he's got to go to the other corner. Sometimes he just looks lost out there. Let's just call it what it is. Kuzma is still learning this offense. He's still learning where to be, when to attack. Last year he had it was almost like a second nature chemistry that he had with LeBron, where he knew when to cut, where to cut. It was just the timing was perfect. And that's why people thought that keeping Kuzma was the right move to make, which I still think it was. But it was just a better flow between them. Now with Anthony Davis on that box, carving out minutes at that power forward spot, which Kuzma was playing last year, Kuzma's not getting the opportunity. But the talent is there. That's why people have to be patient with Kuzma. The talent is there. I just showed you. He had a 5-game stretch earlier this year, in the middle of November. 18 points, 50% from the field, like 45% from 3. He was balling. Like, those are the numbers you kind of want Kuzma putting up. And I don't think there's a reason why he can't get back to that. but we got to have some patience with him. So my thought would be, no, don't trade Kyle Kuzma. Allow him to continue to get over his ankle injury, get over his eye injury, get over the flu that's been going around with the Lakers. Allow him to get into that rhythm. Allow him to find his spots. The talent is there, man. The Lakers don't need a third bona fide star. They don't need that. Remember this. Kobe and Shaq didn't have a third bona fide star and won 3 straight championships. LeBron and Anthony Davis are the best duo that the NBA has seen since Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal. You've got an inside-outside duo that the NBA has not seen since Kobe and Shaq in the 2001-2002 championship years. These guys are amazing. One's leading in assists, one's leading in blocks. They're both playing both ends of the floor. That's a tough duo. So when you have an elite 2, not 1 but 2 top 5 players in the game, your third, fourth, fifth, sixth best players, they need to be role players. Guys like Rondo are playing an excellent role. Dwight Howard is playing his role. KCP, Avery Bradley when we get him back in the lineup. Kuzma's just trying to find his role. That's all it is. That's all it is. The Lakers are coming off the best 2-game back-to-back segment of their entire season. At Denver, at Utah, and to be honest with you, they bust their heads. People were talking all season about the Lakers have played nobody. They played a weak schedule. Listen, granted, it wasn't the toughest schedule to start, but you got to play who you have to play that's on your schedule. Now all of a sudden, they got the best record in the league. They go into Denver, control that game pretty much the entire game. They win that, fly out to Utah, another tough place to play. Well, LeBron hadn't won there in 9 straight tries or something crazy like that. Dominate them from basically tip off to the end of the game, dominated Utah. Mind you, we're doing this without our starter, our best on-ball defender in Avery Bradley. We're doing this while most of the team was dealing with the flu-like symptoms, and during the Denver game, Anthony Davis had to go and get an IV at halftime. We're doing this despite the obstacles. And they're in Portland tonight. That's a big-time game going down tonight. The Portland Trail Blazers are one of those teams that can present a unique problem for the Lakers, specifically when Avery Bradley is out. Because you got Dame Lillard, a small, quick, penetrating superstar guard. You got CJ McCollum, another small, quick, penetrating, legit scoring guard. And then you get Melo. Oh, Melo's back, baby. You got Carmelo Anthony as that third legit option for them? Nah. I don't want to trade Kuzma. I want to give that young fella more time. Because Kuzma can be to the Lakers what Carmelo Anthony has been to the Portland Trail Blazers. A stretch 4, a guy that can play with Anthony Davis, with LeBron James, or he can be your number 1 go-to when both of those guys are off the court. His ability to catch and shoot, he's shooting the ball very well, even over his last 5 games where he's been struggling from the field. A lot of that's been finishing at the basket and stuff like that. I don't know what that is, but he's got to finish. He's got to be more efficient, bottom line. But from the 3, he's been knocking those down. I think about 46% over the last 5 games from the 3. Kuzma can shoot that thing, man. And his defense is getting better. Listen, not just his defense, this entire Laker team is playing much better, much more inspired defense than even what they were last year across the board. Every single player is playing better defense this year than last year. Now, granted, that's almost like a collection of all these guys, motivating and pushing each other and just obviously having better defenders on the team. But even Anthony Davis is playing better defense than he was last year. Kuzma's going to get better. He will. He will. This Laker team is going to get better than even what we are now. 19-3, number 1 seed in the West. The Lakers haven't even hit their stride yet. I predicted at the beginning of this month, because the Lakers have the toughest schedule in December. We started it off at home against Dallas with a loss. They just didn't come out the way they needed to, and then give Dallas a lot of credit. They bombed away threes and was getting second chance points. They were just out hustling the Lakers. No question about that. Back-to-back wins on the road. Tough against teams that will be playoff teams. All three of those teams, Dallas, Denver, Utah, will be playoff teams. They got the win. 2-1 through 3 thus far. I predicted 10-4 for the Lakers in the month of December. Predictions looking good so far. You win tonight in Portland, you're 3-1 in December. Then you got a home game against Minnesota, and then you go on a 5-game Eastern Conference road trip where you're going to see the Atlanta Hawks, and you're going to see the Orlando Magic, different teams. But then it's going to culminate against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, who the reigning MVP, who's in playing against the Clippers tonight. So we want to see how Giannis does against them. But we have Giannis coming up in Milwaukee in about a week or so. That's a litmus test for the Lakers. Everybody's looking forward to the Christmas Day game against the Clippers. Don't overlook that game against Milwaukee coming up. That's going to really truly show where the Lakers are. Then you have that game against the Clippers on Christmas Day. After that, you'll have a really good idea of how good this Lakers team is. And I think they're going to be surprising to a lot of people who said the only reason we had the record that we had was because of an easy schedule to start. You can't use that excuse anymore. They just went to 2 tough places to play in Denver, in Utah, back-to-back nights, and got easy wins. So, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, whoever else you want to throw out there, no. The answer is absolutely no. Don't make a trade. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep this roster together, continue to build chemistry, get Avery Bradley back, get him healthy, get him back into the groove. Rajon Rondo's playing well, KCP's shooting and playing good defense. Dwight Howard is motivated and just totally rejuvenated. This team right here has the look of an absolute championship squad. This is the best Laker team that I've seen since we won back-to-back championships with Kobe and Gasol. Absolutely not. Don't trade Kuzma. But I want to know from the Ballaholic community, what do you all think? Do you think the Lakers should trade Kuzma and try to go and get a third star? I mean, I don't necessarily know who or what that would be, but you would have to package Kuzma with something else. Like I say, maybe a KCP, maybe a Quinn Cook. Maybe you get around 13, 14 million in total in salaries to try to go and get somebody. Maybe you do that. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. Please hit that subscribe button, tap that like button, and make sure that you also hit that notification bell. That way you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.